kicking tail and doing it for all the right reasons in the baseball program. And to me, I know I'm a little biased because it's the Scrappers, but I've been a fan since 1999, and they are still one of the best run organizations. And Heather's a big reason why. And we'll talk to her in just a little bit. But without further ado, we're going to bring in our good friend and a young lady I think an awful lot of, and I think you will too. It's McKenna Hogan of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, the senior. Is that hard to believe, even though you're like 90% done with your senior year? Is it hard to believe that you're still a senior?
Yeah, it hasn't hit me yet.
That's incredible. I mean, has this year gone faster for you than any other year in your just K through 12?
Yeah, it's gone so fast. I was so excited for the season for so long, and I feel like it just got here, and I feel like it's gone with the blink of an eye.
Because softball, from your perspective, I mean, you have to wait so long. I mean, you're on your way to, I mean, you have so much to do right now. Graduation party. Oh, by the way, you've got an undefeated softball team that you're state ranked. You're number one in the power rankings on YSN. And you guys are, I shouldn't say you guys, you ladies are doing it the right way. And you're going out there and you're playing for each other. And I love that about what you do and what your team stands for, and you're having fun doing it. What does it mean to you, McKenna, to be such an instrumental part of the foundation of this program and this team in particular?
It means a lot to me. This team is really special. I've had a lot of like stuff instilled with me through Lydia Spalding, and she really started building this team up from the ground up, and then followed by Maddie Taylor. So I'm really just trying to make them proud and follow in their footsteps. And this team, we're great. We're going to go far this year, and I'm just really proud of all of us.
So when you say go far, I mean, there's other teams going far in the benchmark that they create, and there's Austintown Fitch and the foundation for what your expectations are. When you say go far, what are the expectations for this team? And we know that it's a state championship, but like, do you expect to be there? Is that something that it's championship or bust, or is it something where let's just take a game by game and get to where we want to go?
I definitely want to take a game by game and get further than we did last year, but I expect us to go to state this year. Not to be cocky, but I just feel like we could do it mentally, physically. We're really strong as a team, so I definitely expect us to be there.
What are some of the bigger challenges this year that you faced, maybe on the field and off the field? I mean, you've played some unbelievable competition. We chased you down to Myrtle Beach, played some great teams down there. And obviously there was a game not too long ago, last week, that pushed you to your limits. I mean, what are some of the challenges that you faced always having to take a team's best punch in Austintown Fitch?
I feel like a big challenge for us is we're a young team. We have a lot of young freshmen, sophomores that really are the big part of our team. So it definitely shows, I feel like, a few times. Just not being in those big high-stress situations, it really shows their age sometimes, just them being younger and not being in that environment yet. Because I feel like just us seniors and juniors, we have more experience being in high-stress situations. But when they are young and freshmen and sophomores, they don't have those experiences, so they haven't built it off those yet. So it's just our young age really is a bit of a challenge for us.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I was doing the Austintown Fitch Canfield game the other day for the boys' side, and I kept my eye on the scoreboard the entire time and saw late in the game you were down 2-0. Mm-hmm. And what was going through your mind? I mean, you talk about having a young team, but being some of the senior laden, players that you have, one of them being you. What were some of the things that you were talking about in the dugout? Did it quiet down at all? Did you feel a little bit out of sorts, or what happened? Because you ultimately came back and tied it twice, if I'm not mistaken.
I definitely was a little nervous for a few minutes there, but I really tried to bring the team together. I said I'm not losing the Canfield. That's the one thing I've always said. I am not going to lose the Canfield. I just refuse. So I was not going to let us lose. So I was trying to pick everyone up. There's definitely a few of us who got a little bit down on ourselves. So my job was to pick everyone else up and just make sure we're all in the right headspace to win, because I was not losing.
When you're in those moments, I mean, it has to be so almost invigorating when you come back, you're down 2 and you haven't scored the entire game, and all of a sudden, boom, you got 2 on the board, and then they come back and they knock another one in, and then you're sitting there like, okay, can we do this again? As a team which I love to watch, by the way, just from an announcing standpoint, Ty takes care of you very well, and I love just being a fan and listening to the dugout chants, listening to the that what you guys do in the dugout, it's incredible. Did you ever lose that? I mean, is it when in moments where you're down 2-0, do you feel the dugout's a little bit more quiet? And how do you respond to that? Do you get people up, or is there one person that gets people fired up? Is it Ayla? Is it Sid? Who is it that fires people up in the dugout to get them going?
There was definitely a few minutes where we got a little bit quieter than usual. We're usually the loudest people on the team, we're the most annoying team, I will say. We're the most annoying. So when we get down, you can tell in the dugout. We have a few freshmen like Abby Toth, who is so loud. So she really gets it going again. But even her against Canfield, she's having a little bit of an off day. We all have those days. So it was up to other people to pick it up. And I know I was definitely trying my best to pick up the dugout because that's what I love about this team. We all can have off days, but we're all there to pick each other back up.
There's a special fraternity between folks like you and I, McKenna, and it's all about being a catcher. And one of the reasons I love your game, I love who you are, I love your leadership, is because you handle pitchers very well. And Sid is phenomenal in her own right, but to be able to have a catcher like you to help carry that burden and kind of lead by example and help her along the way. I mean, we've seen no hitters. We've seen perfect games. We've seen 500 strikeouts. You get zero of that credit, right? That doesn't get to go on your resume. From your standpoint, I mean, it's a challenge, right? In today's society, everything's on this, right? A catcher doesn't get any love anyway. And it's like the offensive lineman position of a baseball or softball diamond. How do you handle that? I mean, you have to kind of check your ego at the door, do you not?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I know for me, I definitely got in times where I get really down on myself because I don't get into credit. But it always goes back to my dad. My brother was a lineman, offensive lineman, so he went through the same thing. And my dad really just taught us that we're there for our team, and we're not going to be selfish. We're there for our team, and we're going to put our team first, and that's all that matters. As long as the team gets the win, then I get the win too.
Anthony saying no one puts in more work. Soak in those moments, Kenna. And I think that he speaks for all of us here. Okay, so we talked about your checking your ego at the door. It can get frustrating naturally because, in a recruitment heavy situation as softball has become, and so is baseball in every sport, a lot of times people show up to see, a shortstop, or they show up to see a center fielder, or especially a pitcher, and catchers can get kind of lost in the shuffle. How have you navigated a recruitment journey and a situation if you want to play at the next level and when you want to play at the next level for maybe someone who doesn't know how to get to where you want to go or where you are? How did you handle it along the way?
It was definitely hard, but one thing I used for me was I caught 2 D1 pitchers. Like Sydney's going D1, Lydia went D1. So I definitely use that for me. My hitting too, it's a huge thing is to hit well. Since I don't get a lot of credit behind the plate, I had to hit well just to get more credit there. But just taking videos and posting videos at the throwdowns and blocking, that's really all you can do for the recruitment side of it. It really doesn't mean much, which you're just catching the balls, but when you're throwing them out and just getting all those blocks and nice stops, like all those high ones, that's really what they want to look at.
All right, daughter of a teacher. So I have to ask you, how important are grades? I mean, when you're talking to, freshmen right now and young ladies who you are a leader, you are someone that they look up to, you're a role model, 7th graders, 8th graders who want to, they're out there supporting you. They're out there cheering for you. How does that conversation go? What do you tell them to focus on? Is it their grades? Is it their pop times? And is it hitting? How do you tell them and what their focus should be moving forward if they want to be and follow in your footsteps?
Definitely grades, because with softball, there's not many full ride scholarships given out. And I have like a 3.85, and that's with honors classes. So grades, I feel like, are the most important, because I got one of the highest scholarships there is other than softball just because of my grades. So grades are first and foremost, the most important thing there is grades. The pop time and the throwdowns, they mean a lot to coaches, but nothing needs more than grades because they see you put in a lot of hard work and multitask a lot with softball and in the classroom.
Let's talk this team again. I mean, this is a team with a spectacular DNA to it. I mean, theirs is a championship DNA caliber team where they're, like we talked about, there are high expectations. However, those expectations have to be tempered because this is a family. I mean, this is a family of a lot of years. A lot of great names have come through that roster, in and out through there. What would it mean? And I don't want to get the cart before the horse here, but what would it mean to be among the first to get that state championship? And for not only this roster, but the rosters before, what would it mean to you, Kenna?
It would mean everything. That has been the goal for every team coming through here. So to finally be state champions and get that for everyone, it would just be making everyone proud. Obviously, everyone's goal. So to be able to accomplish that, it would just make everyone else proud.
All right. So word on the street is I was told about these nicknames, and Sunshine is a name that's popped up. Can you give me the background on how you got the nickname Sunshine?
Well, my neighbor across the street, Shane Haney, which is Maddie Haney's dad, I used to take her to school. So every morning he would scream, "Good morning, Sunshine." And so now he's just my sunshine. I'm his sunshine. And that's just our name. I'm Sunshine.
Now, why? I heard it was because you had a grumpy attitude or a grumpy face. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm not a morning person at all. So I'd walk out there a bad mood every day. He's like, "Good morning, sunshine." Try to wake me up. I'm like, "Good morning." Like I would not be happy at all. So it's just a fun joke between all of us because I'm not happy in the morning.
All right. So I guess that knocks out the first question. Are you a morning person or an evening person?
Evening person,
Okay.
100%.
So what is a good night for you? Is it are you like a loner? Like my wife, if she's by herself and with a good book or a good movie, she's good. Is that something you do, or like how do you enjoy a night by yourself, or say, hey, I had a really good night tonight?
I love being with my friends. My favorite nights are going to baseball games. I love going to baseball games after our games, after practices. Like tonight, I'm going to the baseball game. So I just love being with all my friends at the baseball games, cheering on all the baseball boys. It's a lot of fun to be with my friends.
I love it. All right. Let's shout out your friends. Who's been there for you since the jump, and some of the ladies or even guys that are there and big supporter of you now?
Number one is Julie Stackowitz from South Range. That is my best friend. She's been with me since I was 8. I started with her travel ball, and I'm still with her now. Maddie Taylor, who graduated last year, Lydia Spalding, Sydney Watts, Maddie Butis, all of them. They're all my really great friends, and they've just been there with me every step of the way.
How important has softball and sports in general been to you in your development of a young lady into being, a grown woman?
Sports is everything. I've learned leadership. I've learned how to fail. Failure is a big part of life, and I've learned how to fail through softball and just through sports. And it's really just made me who I am. Definitely how to put what priorities are. That's what softball taught me. How to be on time. Just it's taught me all the major life lessons, and I've learned them all through softball.
What are some of the lessons that you wish that somebody would have taught you, or expectations for, high school and high school sports that somebody would have given you like a cheat sheet and said, hey, this is what you're going to have to go through, that you can pass on to the next generation of athletes?
Definitely put in work when no one's watching. High school, it's all about putting in work because we always say here that like high school's a marathon and travel is a sprint. It's a marathon in high school. You don't get a week off in between games because in travel ball you have a few games on the weekend, then you have a whole week off. In high school, it's every single day you have games and practice. It's a whole marathon. So being able to do work on top of being sore and tired, because we all are sore and tired after our games. So being able to focus and do our schoolwork and turn it all in on time is really important.
Kind of one of the things that people talk about nowadays is a buzzword. It's work-life balance, and it's how you kind of juggle, being at work, being at school, and the rest of your life. How have you learned to do that? Because I think it's more important now than ever in high school to learn how to develop time management and work-life balance. How have you been able to develop that, and who's helped you along the way?
I've definitely struggled in the beginning. Like my freshman year, I would put everything off to the end, and I still have a tendency to do that, procrastinate everything. But my parents yelling at me to do stuff and just get all my work done, they've really helped me learn to balance everything, and I know it's gonna be really important next year going and play at collegiate level.
All right. So from my perspective, I want to know, because I wish I could go back and tell 5-year-old DJ some things about life. What would you tell 5-year-old Kenna at this point in your life to watch out for, look out for, prepare for, things of that nature?
I was just doing this today for my senior scrapbook. It's to not trust everyone. I've definitely tried in the past to trust everyone and everything they say, but obviously that does not always work out. So just to get your few close friends and definitely just rely on them.
All right, let's give a shout out to a teacher who's made a huge impact in your life. Obviously, in the hallways is just as important as on the turf. What's some advice that a specific teacher or teachers has given you that's really given you a leg up?
Well, obviously, I have Coach Ward as a teacher, so I love having him as a coach, as well as a teacher. But one teacher that I love is Mrs. Carroll. She is so involved in sports at Fitch, and she's really just is really involved in her students' lives, and you can really tell she cares about every single one of us and what we're doing. Every single game day, she'll ask me who we play, how the team is, and just everything. You can tell she really cares about what we're doing.
All right, from a standpoint, let's take it home, right? We're talking about mom and dad, some of the best people I know. Your mom was a teacher when I was in school here in East Palestine. Your dad is one of the kindest, most gentle bears I've ever met in my life. One of the biggest human beings I would be terrified for or against, I guess, had I not known the heart that he has. What is the biggest attribute that you take from each of your parents that you love knowing that it came from them?
For my dad is my competitiveness. We call him Big Cushy actually at home, because on the outside he looks really scary, but he's really just nice and he loves everyone. But his competitiveness, it's really his drive to do anything. It's really what I've taken away from him. He's taught me my work ethic and my drive. And then for my mom, it's really taught me how to have a heart and to love people and care for people. Me and her are really emotional people, and I just love getting my heart from her.
All right, let's see if this is the last question. I might add on depending on your answer, but your legacy. I mean, what an absolute ride that you've been on over the last 4 years. What do you want your legacy to be and people to remember about you the most when you leave here in, I can't believe I'm going to say this, a couple weeks, as you walk across that stage, and I'm sure you're going to be a proud Falcon, but what do you want people to remember about you the most?
That I'm selfless. I want everyone to remember that I put my team first. My team is most important to me. If we get the win, then I get the win. I've definitely had bad games. My team's always there for me. And when my teammates have bad games, I always remember that I'll be there for them. So definitely that I'm a selfless person and I'll put my team first always.
All right. What does it mean to you to be an Austintown Fitch Falcon? What is that? When you think about it, when you really got to break it down, what does it mean to you most that you wore the F?
To me, I'm so proud to wear the F. Being here at Fitch, we all work so hard. We have such a hard work ethic. And just now, like my team is in the weight room right now lifting, and we love working hard, and we always want to be the best we can be. And I'm just so proud to be a Fitch Falcon.
And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, heading to the next level, what are your expectations for yourself when you arrive at college this fall?
Arriving at college, I'm definitely a little nervous, but I'm really excited. The team there is amazing. So I'm really hoping that I can at least do something for the team, even if it's not starting my freshman year, but just being on the bench, being a cheerleader for the team, just being a big part of the team that helps them advance to the tournament.
McKenna Hogan, my hero forever. I can't thank you enough. I'm so proud of you. Continue the ride, would you? I mean, don't let it end until you're holding up that state championship. We're all proud of you. We're all watching
Thank
you,
you.
and certainly, I cannot wait to see the great things, not only this year, but for the rest of your life that you're going to do and contribute to society. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for YSN. We appreciate you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, there she goes, McKenna Hogan, one of the best there is. I mean, she is phenomenal, folks, and there really is. I think when you can relate to being in a certain position, for me, it's a catcher. There's going to be a hyper focus on catchers this week for me. I'm trying to reach out to as many catchers as I can to talk to them because there's a mindset, right? Same as if you're a shortstop or a pitcher or a point guard or offensive lineman or a quarterback, things of that nature, setter, an attacker. Didn't want to leave out volleyball because I know Anthony would be all over me for that one.